everybody. Welcome to When Calls the Hallmarkies. And this is the show where we dive into all things When Calls the Heart. And we have some very interesting episodes we're talking about today. It's season 11, episodes 6 and 7. And I'm film critic Grace Wagner, and Caroline is here.
Hey,
How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good, good. Well, this is interesting. Both these episodes, I'm kind of glad we're doing them in the double recaps like we do, because they were both like really intense, I think, for When Calls the Heart. Would you agree?
They were
Yeah, I
last
was.
week, or six was a little bit more heavy than seven
Yeah,
in my but they're both pretty interesting.
yeah. I was just, I mean, maybe because I watched them together, kind of really added to that. But I don't know. I was just surprised, especially with 6 for the first one we'll talk about.
hmm
Like them, it's definitely one of the heaviest episodes they've ever had on the
hmm
show.
hmm I agree.
Yeah, yeah. And everybody did a good job with it. It just caught me off guard. I was surprised.
hmm
So we'll dive in. We'll talk about it, and we definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comments, what you think of these episodes. And and poor Nathan, man, the man just can't catch a break. He really can't.
I
They,
mean,
they have stretched out not just the kiss, but them just having a meal together. Like it seems
hmm
like it's an impossible thing. Like he cannot eat with this woman.
I guess they're showing that they don't need actual date. I don't know, but a date would be
Yes.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, come on. Break. I mean, yeah, it's intense. But the summary for this first episode is called Believe, and it's Elizabeth confronts an imposing figure from her past. Rosemary helps Lee navigate a new leadership role, and Lucas struggles to find bidders for his resort project. So, I mean, given that it was this more intense episode, what did you think overall of this one?
I really enjoyed it. Like, I didn't know going in it was going to be as intense as it was going to be.
Yeah,
And but I thought they all handled it well, and especially Rosemary, Nathan, and Lucas all working to help like Elizabeth. I thought that was really sweet,
yeah,
and it wasn't everyone was going towards him. It wasn't like every story was different. It was all one big story together. If that makes
yeah,
sense. I like
yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't want every episode of One Call Art to be like
No,
this.
no,
That's for sure. But
one a season.
yeah, one a season. I think it really stretched Erin as an actress, which I
Mhm.
appreciate. And it was, yeah, I never thought we'd see a Me Too episode of One Calls the Heart, but here we are.
I know.
That's what we got. So, yeah, I'd be curious to hear what the Hardys as a whole, think of it, because it seems like sometimes they really want the show to be kind of even keeled and not
hmm
challenge the characters too much. And so I'd be curious if they really don't like this episode, or how they feel. And
all
what
the
it
all the stuff I've seen on like Instagram and Twitter, like it's all been really positive about
oh,
the
okay,
episode,
that's
and
interesting.
especially the writing and like
Uh-huh.
of course Aaron's performance and everything.
Yeah.
A lot of people
Yeah.
say it's the best since season five. That's what people
Oh,
have
okay,
been
that's
saying.
interesting.
hmm
Huh. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that
hmm
the Hardys have embraced something a little bit with a little,
Different. hmm
yeah, yeah, that's good to hear. Well, it started off all sweetness and
hmm
wonderful with Goldie's birthday party. That was so cute.
She's the cutest. Like I hope they
Oh,
continue with her like as Goldie.
she is so cute. Yeah,
hmm
absolutely. And then we get, like I said, this man cannot catch a break. He tries to carry Elizabeth's books, walk her
hmm
to school, and there's it, he asks her to lunch,
That was
and
cute.
yeah, yeah. So this is one of the first like dates he's really asked her to, I guess.
Yes, I thought that was cute.
Yeah, it was cute, but you're just like, oh man. Because he asked her dinner once before, and then
She
that got canceled.
Yes. It was a family date, I think, if I remember
Yep.
correctly.
Yeah. And so there's also funny where Rosemary's concerned about Lee's. There's also Rosemary's concerned with Lee's suits. They're
Hmm.
not nice enough to
Hmm.
be mayor,
Yes.
which was funny.
Yeah, totally Rosemary.
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of made me think, who's running the dress shop these days?
Did they close it?
I mean, because Rosemary obviously is doing the newspaper, and
I thought they closed it
they
because
must have closed it. 'Cause who else would be running it?
hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you can't have I mean, unless there's just some nameless Hope Vallian who's running it. I don't know, but I was thinking about that. I'm like, after. I mean,
Dottie often I forget what city she's in, but she was
yeah,
running it,
she's gone.
and
Yeah.
and then Clara left, and then
Yeah.
Rosemary's, and then I guess no
And it
one
was
needs dresses anymore.
what's her name that ended up with Gowan's son. Remember? She worked at the dress
Oh,
shop.
Lee's niece.
Yes, her, that's right. It's her
Mhm.
niece, his niece. But anyway, no wonder the fashion has gone downhill in Hope Valley. No, no
Yeah.
dress shop.
Well, and where
But
did Elizabeth get all her new clothes from?
yeah,
Like
I
all of
don't
her
know.
short skirts.
Scandal. But yeah, Lee, I mean, it makes me wonder if Rosemary was critiquing the fashion of Bill and Abigail
Hmm.
before.
Hmm. Yeah.
And ho, ho, ho. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies Patreon.
Do you love Hallmarkies podcast, especially at Christmas?
Do you enjoy the holiday previews, recaps, interviews, and bonus episodes?
If the answer is yes, please consider supporting the Hallmarkies Patreon. We need your help to do what we do both during the Christmas season and all year round.
But not only do you help a podcast led by strong, independent women by becoming a Patreon, you get to become a part of the Hallmarkies family.
Starting at only $2 a month as a patron, you will have access to our Facebook Patreon group where we talk about the movies, shows, and more all year.
We also have many monthly patron watch-alongs with guests like Lacey Chabert, Natalie Hall, Paul Campbell, Mary Lou Henner, and more, giving their behind-the-scenes details of their films.
As a patron, you also have the chance to provide input into the podcast and even join us at different tiers.
So this Christmas season, spread some cheer to the Hallmarkies Patreon and become a member today. You won't regret it.
Go to patreon.com/hallmarkies to learn more.
That's patreon.com/hallmarkies. Laugh in the next episode when Molly's talking about that the noise shouldn't be over, that the noise should be done by 8 o'clock. And Bill's like, really? I'm like, Abigail did the exact same thing. There was a whole episode.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Where she was.
With Lucas.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's really not a new concept to Hope Valley.
And Lee was firm. Like, we are not. Like,
yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. So then we have this Thomas Higgins coming back, and this is where we get the story. And we know this backstory with Elizabeth, that this guy had super creeps a lot when she was going to her training, her schooling, and basically made her very uncomfortable, made her feel like she had to, what do you say? Like he propositioned her and made her feel like she couldn't become a teacher if she didn't agree to his demands. And he's back because they've got this town merging of the school boards, everything like that. How do you think this actor did playing Higgins? Do you think he was
I thought he was creepier than the first guy, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, because we've seen this character before, right? Just not this actor.
Season 4, yeah.
And so she is upset as soon as she sees that it's him, and he turns out he's the territorial superintendent. Yeah. and he gives her his guidelines, and it makes her very uncomfortable. And he acts like he doesn't know that she's in a one-room schoolhouse.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, how is she supposed to do what he tells her to do when all the different ages are all combined together?
Yeah. Yeah, that doesn't. I didn't think
And
about that, but that's true.
yeah. And then he, says that he asks her to go to dinner. And that's the one. I mean, obviously you only have so much time. But in reality, he probably would have like tried to kind of groom her, for lack of that he would have tried to kind of, he probably wouldn't have asked on the first meeting to do this, but you only have so many minutes. But yeah,
and
he
I guess since
asks.
they have that history of like back
Yeah,
in what he was the head over the school, is that right? Is that what she said?
something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So she's feeling very uncomfortable, and this makes her break her date with Nathan. I was just like, oh man.
I mean, she was like they were going for it, and then bam.
Yeah, she doesn't have
But
time to eat.
he knew right away though that something was
Yeah,
off.
it was just like the man can't catch a break. Or Nathan. It really is. It's rough. I did laugh though when Rosemary brings all the files and stuff in the baby carriage. That was really funny.
And
It's
Bill
not
was all
Goldie.
excited about the
Yeah,
baby.
yeah, that was good. And then we have the cuteness of May and Hickam. Miss.
I love them. Yes.
Yeah, she's missing her family, and she says, now I have someone to cook for. And I think they did a pretty good job of making the stuff that she makes. Like, I think she could make most of what she made, in assuming she made the pasta, that by hand. Pretty, because that's when I thought that, okay, how they're going to do Chinese food in Hope Valley, it's going to be ridiculous. But they did a pretty good job. Assuming she made the noodles and the for the spring rolls, that for the bow, that she did. Assuming she made the pasta herself, that I think everything else was pretty like realistic.
I like that she had to go to Florence and ask like for a rush order. I thought that was pretty
Yeah,
realistic.
yeah,
Yeah, realistic. Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, it was just like noodles with sauce, and then the rolls.
Oh yeah.
So it wasn't the dumplings. That's what I meant to say. Dumplings. It was just basically noodles and sauce and dumplings. So pretty much everything you could make is assuming you made the pasta by hand.
And I like when Hickam pulled the chopsticks out of his
Yeah, that was
jacket
really
pocket.
cute. That was really good. And and so I mean, and you got the impression from Florence that I would bet that she got the lanterns and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
From there. Because everything else, like what? I mean, you have cabbage, and they probably grow that in Hope Valley. Garlic, they have that. So it was pretty good, I think, as far as that. They weren't like, I don't know, there wasn't like some ingredient that you're like, come on, they're not gonna have that in Hope Valley. Anyway,
and back in the 1920s, like
right, yeah, yeah. I mean, she would have had. I guess she could have also gotten the steamer thing for the dumplings from Florence. She could have ordered that there too. But
and we needed
it was
some
cute.
cuteness in that episode. So
yeah, you needed.
I'm glad they
it's
had
true.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have I liked the way that more people kept getting added to this meeting.
Yeah.
Like if people leave met, oh, Lomo's coming. Okay. Everybody wants in.
The guys were like trying to get their wife or girlfriend to come. I thought that was cute.
Yeah, that was funny. And then Joseph, he is waiting for. First he's writing all these letters to Jacob, but he's struggling, and he's just too angry and upset about it. And then
that's
he's
the first time we've seen him angry before.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So that's good too. That's interesting, in this episode. And then Rosemary, it can tell that Elizabeth's upset. And this was a great scene. This was a great Rosemary and Elizabeth moment. He says that, did he proposition you? And Rosemary says, you should turn him in to Nathan, and she says, well, it'll just be my word against his word. And that's the problem. And obviously, like, Nathan would believe her, but what could he do about it? That's the struggle. And so that's why they come up with the solution that they did.
And I think really it needed to be Elizabeth, like, figuring this out, like getting him in trouble, like, and not have Nathan do it for her. Like, I think it needed to be her.
Yeah. And well, if it was going to have any like lasting impact. And the thing that really takes Elizabeth over the edge is when she sees Higgins talking to Anna. That's the thing. And she's like, that is not going to happen again to Anna.
Yes. And I like that. Like, she's like, that was me 10 years ago. Like, to stop the cycle.
Right. And that, it's one thing for her to feel uncomfortable and not do anything, but it's another thing for her to watch it happen to a person she loves and not do anything. Like, that's like a different, I don't know, you can kind of, because that you can handle it, and that you can keep going, but you don't, I don't know, it just makes it all the more real, I think.
It's like when, like, you're sick, you can handle being sick.
Yeah.
But, like, when you're watching someone that you love be sick or hurt or something, that's like 10 times worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Exactly. Yeah. And so I thought that was interesting. I was a little bummed that Anna left, because I'm like, I know. I think she would be really good. It would be good for Elizabeth to have another person at the school.
And I hope that she comes back for season 12. Like, works maybe with Elizabeth, works with the older kids, and Anna works with the younger, because they're getting pretty big. Like,
I would love that, and I would love for them to find because they really need some younger talent on When Close to the Heart, and I'm bummed that what was his name, Brendan, the younger actor last season, that ended up working for Florence and Ned.
Oh yeah.
He was I can't remember the character's name. Yes, Harry. He was so good. I loved him, and I mean, that would be a perfect match, him and Anna.
Oh yes, that'd be cute.
Yes, and I know. I just feel like that character has such potential, and so I hope they bring her back.
Especially because we've seen Anna since she was like a little girl.
Yes.
Since season 1. And
I
watch her grow up.
She was good. I liked her. The actress did a good job. So I hope they bring her back.
I know Elizabeth wants to teach little Jack, but it would be cute to see like someone else teach little Jack, and her being like the mom mode instead of like teacher mode. That'd be cute.
Yeah, if y'all are listening as showrunners, When Close to the Heart, bring her back. That character has a ton of potential.
They are writing season 12 now, so they can add it back. Yeah.
Okay, Lindsay and all the writing team, bring Anna back. She was great.
Yes.
She was great. And so then we have Higgins being Sir Creeps-a-Lot when he says, I scratch your back, you scratch mine.
Oh. I think everybody on Twitter watching the episode live was like go away, like please just creep. Like, Ben,
I was surprised. I did not expect When Calls Hard to go there.
Ben Rosenbaum called him Piggins instead of Piggins. That was
that was good. Yeah.
We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor of this episode of the podcast. New from Harpath Road Press, we have Lindsay Gibson's new perfect beach read called Fly Away Summer.
Chef Lana Kelly hopes she can acquire the inn her family lost, but when it goes up for sale, the inn is snapped up by Hunter Graham of Graham Property Development in New York City, who plans to transform it into an event venue. Lana isn't so thrilled about her new neighbor, but could this be a case of enemies turned to lovers? Pick up Flyaway Summer wherever you purchase books or use the affiliate link below. Find out more about Lindsay and all the terrific new books from Harpath Road at harpathroad.com. That's harpathroad.com.
What they have is, and he threatens to change the name of the school. Won't be named Jack Thorne School anymore.
Don't do that to Elizabeth Higgins. Like, stay away from the name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you have Elizabeth getting upset to Nathan, which was a nice moment for the two.
I thought that was sweet. Another add to the longing looks and
yes,
hugging.
Yeah,
montage.
That'll definitely get in the montages. Longing look montages. And so she confronts Higgins and says that she should make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone again. You stay away from Anna. And then he confesses, and then Mountie Nathan, hat and all,
snap.
comes out.
Meaning business.
Yes.
Don't mess with my girl. Like
it was good. It was a good moment. And he says, "I believe Elizabeth and every woman who has accused you." Oh no, that was Lucas who said that.
That was Lucas.
Lucas, "I believe Elizabeth and every woman who has accused you." That was a great moment.
Because Higgins thought, I got Governor Bouchard on my side since I've donated.
Which why would he think
him.
that if he was engaged to Elizabeth?
Yeah, and he knew that. He knew that too. I thought that's a good point. Like, like why would he try? Like, I guess maybe because he thought maybe he would want something bad to happen to Elizabeth since they broke up.
Was bitter.
Yeah,
he was bitter. But yeah, he goes to Lucas. I gotta have connections. By all means, use them.
I know, that was good.
Yeah, that was a peak Lucas moment. He was great. He was great. It was great. And Elizabeth isn't the first claim of this. Yeah. So, which is sad. I mean, even today, that how many times people, because it is often one word against another word, and so what are you? It makes it tough, but
then you have that guilt carrying, like, oh, it's happening to more. It's happening to more women, and there's nothing you can do because it's your word against his.
Yeah. And for so long, it was kind of seen as like, oh, it's just part of, like, there was that whole men will be men, whatever kind of philosophy that was just like the you're paying your dues, which is really sad. Yeah. And so then we have him getting suspended. He will never have the power to abuse another woman again. So that was, again, great Lucas moment.
I know.
Applause. It was great.
I'm glad it was only one episode, though. Like, I'm glad it didn't last a couple episodes.
Yeah.
It didn't. He was suspended that episode.
Do you think that they are going to bring in another love interest for Lucas? Or do you think they'll wait for next season?
Next season.
Yeah.
I think it wouldn't make sense for Lucas right now. He has his hands full.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us thought, okay, is this Jeanette? Is she going to end up? But the way that they were talking about it's weird, because in the next episode when they're talking about her, he is just treating her like a pariah. And so it makes you think, okay, either he isn't accepting of the fact that she has changed, or she actually hasn't changed, and he is the only one that kind of sees it.
I think he knows, like, deep down, like, she can't change, maybe.
Yeah. So, because I was thinking, okay, there's going to be like a hero arc, redemption arc for Jeanette, but it sounds like it's not going to be.
I think they need to bring someone new for Lucas, not anyone from Hope Valley.
Yeah, I mean, there really is nobody in Hope Valley.
Except for Faith. But
yeah, that's
Faith
true.
has been with everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think.
Fiona's gone.
Yeah, Fiona's gone. I mean, I guess there's somebody like Molly, but she seems
Too
old, too
young. Yeah.
old for Lucas. So I can't think of anybody else who's unattached at the
So
moment.
I think he'll remain single, like until next season.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. And so then we have it is in this episode that Molly says that she wants no noise after 8 p.m. Like again, she's like Abigail 2.0.
I love
But it was just
Molly.
funny
Like
to me. They were acting like this was like such a crazy request. And I'm like, this is exactly what Abigail wanted.
and I think Lee was even opposed to what Abigail wanted in season 6. So he stood firm, like, we are not doing this.
Yeah. And so then May makes the dinner and with the lanterns. I want to be part of your life, your whole life. I want that too.
Oh,
it was great. It was
I didn't
great.
know I needed that little romance, but it's just been so sweet.
Yeah, I almost thought, are they going to have him propose? Like it was feeling it was maybe getting there, but of course they have to draw everything out in Michael's heart.
I think they'll get married at the end of the season.
Too. Yeah, I do too. And then Elizabeth says to Nathan, "Thank you for being there," and he says, "There's nowhere else I'd rather be."
Oh,
so that was cute.
And then she laid her head on his shoulder.
Yeah. I mean, I would give this a pretty good score. Like I said, I wouldn't want every episode of One Call Heart to be like this, but I do admire the swing that they took. So I'd probably
just for the acting chops.
Yes. So I'd probably give it like a 9.
I was thinking 9 too.
Yeah. Okay. Then we have Facing the Music, episode 7. And this is Elizabeth hopes for the best when Tom Thornton visits with an exciting opportunity for the town's choir. Rosemary and Bill interview a source, and Lucas considers his options. And I was beyond excited to see Tom back.
Me too.
It was ridiculous how excited I got. Because I guess he was at the wedding, but we haven't seen him really much since season 2.
Nope.
Yeah.
I think, he was only there for that one episode in season 5. And then he didn't even come to the funeral.
Yeah, that was the one thing that was really phony, is they were acting like, of course he's here for Jack's birthday. Like, what? That makes no sense. He wouldn't come for the funeral, but he just randomly is there for Jack's birthday.
And his nephew's like, how old is Jack? 5?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. He's still
preschool,
but so that was dumb, because you didn't even need to give an explanation of why he was in town. He just is in town, and so, but I just loved seeing him back. Another person that I would love to see remain in Hope Valley.
I thought they were going that route, like with Faith.
So, and this hopefully. Max Lloyd Jones, great. He's so charming. I liked him so much.
I was surprised. Like I was like, oh, like I was so excited to see him, and I thought it's worked well, for the episode.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of bummed that they gave him this plot. Like, I just kind of, I didn't really need there to be all this conflict with Tom. Like, why not just have? I mean, I like it when they give conflict, because a lot of episodes of One Calls the Heart are just kind of like nobody's stretched, nobody's pushed. But I guess, I kind of would have been fine with him having kind of a happy plot for his first, maybe have an arc. It looks like he is going to be back next episode at least, so maybe that will be the more the joyous plot. But I was a little bit, I was like, oh, why did he have to like get scammed? And I was just a little bummed they gave him this plot, but they did a good job with it.
I think it's like more helping Elizabeth and Nathan maybe work together and try to and bring them closer than anything.
Yeah. And so it's Jack's birthday, and so she's taking little Jack to the cemetery and gonna put balloons on the grave.
That's sweet.
It was very sweet. It was very, very sweet. And then Rosemary and Bill, they're sharing all their details about the case. and this is where we get into more where Lucas doesn't want to get into business with Jeanette, but the problem is there's just not any bidders for the resort. And the only ones in the locally can do it are Gowan, Lee, and
Lucas.
And Lucas. Yeah. The only ones who can do it locally are Gowan, Lee, and Lucas. And none of them are, they all have conflicts of interest is the problem. It's the problem. And
I definitely don't think it's going to happen like the resort.
I don't think it's going to happen either, because what are they going to do? Like, are they going to build like a, they just don't have the budget. So I don't think they're going to do it. Plus, like, a resort for most of Hallmark is usually terrible.
Bad.
Bad news.
Yeah. Bad business.
Yeah. And I mean, you had nice, so when she sees Tom again, she's happy to see him. And I don't remember back in season 2 there being like huge animosity between Jack and Tom. Was there? And I forgot. Oh, like, there was.
Because Jack was like, I guess Tom thought he was like the good guy, the goody two shoes.
Oh yeah.
And you remember he took Elizabeth's dad's car and wrecked it, and her dad got upset and he
with
ran
Julie.
Away. Yeah, and Tom. Like he thought it was Tom, but it was Julie that was driving instead of Tom.
Yeah.
And Tom took the fall for Julie.
I guess I was just caught up in the romance of it all, and so I don't know. I didn't remember that part of the plot, but it's been 9 seasons, so
yeah.
But I just loved Tom. I always have loved Tom, so I was so excited to see him back.
And I'm glad that he's like on the right path.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. So he's signing up acts for this music festival, and he's working with this guy Sweeney, and it turns out that we find out that the whole thing was a scam, and that it's basically like a Ponzi scheme kind of thing, and I felt so bad for him.
Because he was so excited about it, and like he finally thought he had a good purpose, and I'm glad he wasn't. I'm glad he wasn't in on the scam. Of course, like that he was just being used to scam.
Yeah,
if that makes any sense.
Yeah. I mean, he was duped, and then he felt stupid and bad because he lost the $65, and so he tries to bolt. He tries to leave, and that's why I'm excited for next episode, because he can redeem himself, and hopefully he'll realize that people love him, and even though he's made this mistake. We'd like to take a second and thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast. It's the Hallmarkies merch store.
Are you looking for that perfect gift for the postable, Hardy, or Hallmarky in your life?
What about getting that t-shirt or hoodie that will help you stand out at your next holiday party?
Now is the time to check out the Hallmarkies merch store.
Full of festive designs by artists like Jessica Miller, Carrie from Hallmark Comics, and more.
You can even have more than just shirts, but totes, cell phone cases, notebooks, mugs, and more.
And it isn't just Hallmark. We have designs for Anna Green Gables, Man from Snowy River, The Nanny, and more.
Every purchase at the merch store goes to help support the podcast and allows us to make the great content you know and love.
There are frequent sales, so go to tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies or see the link in the description.
That's tpublic.com/stores/Hallmarkies. It's
like $90. So today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So $65. That would be just over $1,100.
I could see why they would be upset.
Yeah. Like not enough to like ruin you, ruin a town or something, but it's a good chunk of change for sure. And so, he's getting excited. He hears Allie and Angela sing, and gets interested in the choir. It was cute. And of course, like as soon as Rosemary hears about this, she's gonna be really excited.
All over it, yeah.
Yeah. And the scene between Faith and Lily was so cute. Your brain is huge.
And she took a little stethoscope and tried to
Yeah.
hide it behind her. That was cute.
Yeah. And then she sees Tom and they end up going to lunch. And I mean, that's what I'm saying is Tom could stay. That would be great.
Maybe they'll surprise us and he's back
Yeah.
for
Because
season
Andrea
12.
has struggled with chemistry with her co-stars, romantically, at least on this show. But I was like, I could see this. Right?
And I remember back in season 2, I was like, okay, that they would work together, I think.
Yeah. Right? That's crazy that Faith has been on the show that long, huh?
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. Wow. But then we have the that Minnie, she's excited about auditioning. Everyone gets there's only one spot left. And I mean, I'm hopefully this next episode, because if he's gotten all of these groups together, I don't see what would stop him from having a festival in Salt Lake City. Why not? You know?
Based on the promos for next week, the festival's in Hope Valley.
Hope Valley, yeah. Well, yeah. And it was kind of funny. I'm like, oh, let's talk about Utah. What's going on?
I know. Here? I was thinking about you when I heard Salt Lake. I'm like, oh, Rachel can go.
Yeah, that's right. They have an emergency choir meeting. That was very funny.
Yeah.
Got to get together quick. And they sing This Little Light of Mine, which was first written in the 20s. It became popular in the 1950s with the civil rights movement, actually. And so that's when it a lot of gospel groups would start singing the song. But it was a nice moment. I always like when they sing.
Yeah. It's such a talented cast.
Yeah.
Like singing wise.
I know my dream fantasy is a musical episode. Ugh.
They're trying so hard to get that musical episode. Like every season's like a little bit more than the last. And
yes.
I mean, Erin can sing, Jack, Wagner, of course, Kevin, Pascal, Ben.
Oh, hey, can you sing?
Who else?
I didn't know he could sing. Ben.
And who else? Andrea, I think, can sing.
Can she?
I think. I
mean,
be telling a fib.
Yeah, I mean, enough to be like part of the group, you know, that would be fine. And yeah, I feel like some of these younger are good, decent singers as well. It would be so fun. I would just I would love it so much. I don't know if Martin for years. I don't know if Martin can sing, but how fun would that be to have Cowan have a musical number?
And Bill, like seeing Bill sing.
Yeah. Showrunner, if you're listening, Lindsay, let's make it happen.
Kevin said he can't sing. He can play he said he can do the tambourine.
Yeah, he can be I mean, what would be really great is if we had a musical episode and it was a Christmas episode. Oh,
that would be so good.
Get out of here. It would be the best. Peak. Who wouldn't watch that? Who wouldn't watch that? I mean,
ratings gold.
Yeah. I feel like Loretta can sing. I feel like she does musicals and stuff like that. So it would be great. I would love it so much.
The cast wants it. The fans want it.
Yeah.
Hallmark. Come on.
So yeah, and Nathan's kind of concerned about this $5, and because it's a lot of money to be asked for, and then he's getting kind of suspect. Tom's only worked with this guy for a few months, so he's managed to get all these groups like pretty quick. Sounds like, and
he's going Mountie mode real quick.
Yeah. So then we have Mrs. Pike coming.
That was funny.
Rosemary was gonna leave, go to Union City, and she's like, "I've never been in a different city than Goldie." It was cute. I liked seeing her worried, upset.
It's funny. Like I remember when Elizabeth left Jack for the first time. Rosemary was like, "Why is she worried? Like she did. Like we cared for Jack before," and it was just funny that she was now worrying, leaving the baby with the father. Like
Yeah.
it was just funny.
Well, and it's interesting because the Mrs. Pike says he was with me the night of the election, and a confession will only get so far. And it's not like the ironclad proof that people think, because there's lots of things that can hurt a confession. Just it doesn't line up with the facts. Then it's not as like ironclad as you might think.
Yeah, I guess they need to figure out if he was really with his mom. Like, Bill and Rosemary will figure that out.
Yeah. So then they talk about using government funds to build the resort, which isn't like unheard of. Like here in Utah, there have been some projects that have both government funding and private funding. As part of because there's going to be public space as part of the project. It's seen as a communal good, to revamping a particular area or a particular, making it's worth investing by the community, and so you do see that quite a bit, but it would obviously be a pretty big risk too. And
it would be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like they were able to handle when everybody's coming for the hot springs. It seems like they were able to handle the tourists pretty well. So it makes you think, did they really need this resort?
Yeah, and they have the hotel. Like, I don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and they were able to handle most everything at the hotel, and so
I know Lucas wants to for the town to have ways of supporting itself long term. But maybe he can figure out a different route that's not so big and costly.
Yeah, and so things get more and more murky when we find out that a friend of Pike paid for Mrs. Pike's surgery. And also that Montague sent flowers to the hospital. Yeah. So it's like a real suspect right there. I wonder. Go ahead.
I still wonder if Edwin's involved somehow.
That was the old governor?
No, that was Lucas's right-hand man, who was the right-hand man.
Oh, Edwin.
Edwin, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I said that from the beginning, that he seems very suspect to me. Yeah, Edwin. Yeah.
Especially with the resort now, like he's like telling him that he needs to use town or the government funds.
Yeah,
like he's trying to get Lucas somehow.
He seems like the mole to me.
Even if he didn't pull the trigger, he's somehow
involved.
Yeah.
I think so too.
But I like him. Like, I liked him at first, and I think he's been funny, but I think he's definitely suspicious.
So they sing the Daisy Bell song, and that made me laugh, because if you ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, in that movie, the computer system of the spaceship is named Hal, and Hal starts to I guess rebel. It malfunctions, and the guy ends up going into the main programming thing and starts turning them off, and Hal is singing Daisy, Daisy, if icicle me, and it gets Daisy, Daisy. So I can't think of this song without thinking about creepy Hal and his voice.
It was on another show I watched. I can't remember now. Might have been Pretty Little Liars or something. It was in a creepy tone. I can't think of.
Yeah. So that made me laugh.
And they're just so cute. I just love Florence and
Ned.
Ned.
I
Yeah.
know. I do too. I really do too. So yeah, I wrote down lame plot because I was bummed about this whole Tom plot, but I hope they make it. I really hope this next episode it really all pays off. I think
I
it will.
think so,
I think
because
it will.
like his redemption
Yes.
arc, so to speak.
And the people really believe in him because I don't think he sees that. He doesn't believe it.
And I like that
So.
he's like Elizabeth thinks that he's still in Jack's shadow. So like maybe
Yeah.
this will help move
Right.
past that for him.
Well, in some ways, I would think it would almost be even worse. Him like you become kind of a legend, especially if he passes away at such a young age, and it's like you almost make them flawless, you know. And so who can live up to that, you know? Yeah. And so we find out Benson Hills Oil is filed for bankruptcy. And Henry says the only other person you can reconsider is Jeanette. We're out of options.
And Chris did say that she's coming back. So
did he? Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Well, and he at the end he was calling Montague. Lawrence, get me Montague. What?
He was trying to slam the phone down. Like
yeah.
He's like so upset about it. So
And we find out that Tom was conned, and like officially at the end, and they bring him back. And
how about Elizabeth riding?
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah.
Nathan and Elizabeth on the same horse.
I know.
Getting cozy.
Well, what would the town think when they
scandal.
Yeah.
Scandal. But it was cute. It was a cute moment. So
they're throwing little moments of like cuteness for them during the season, and hopefully it's gonna pay off.
They're giving stuff for the longing look montages.
They are.
They're giving stuff.
For the longest time, it's only been a certain amount of things, and now season 11 is like bam, bam, bam.
But let's get with it. Let's, we only have 3 episodes left. We need to move it along.
I think I saw a clip of the next episode and they're dancing.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, that's a big step.
I know.
Actually spending time together. Amazing. So there we go. I would give this one I was so happy to see Tom back. So I would give this one an 8.
I'll say 8.5.
Okay, good. Well, there we go. Let us know what you think of these 2 episodes. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments or on Twitter. And Caroline, where can people find you?
You can follow me at Twitter at MediaCaroline.
Great. And you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all of our social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. Check that out. Also, make sure you're following the podcast, Hallmarkies Podcast, all of our social media. And if you are listening on iTunes, please leave your ratings and reviews. We really, really, really appreciate that. And it's the best thing that you can do to help support the podcast aside from being a patron. There's nothing else you can do that helps us more than leave those ratings and reviews on iTunes, because it immediately benefits us. Like we had a positive review this week and I saw an immediate uptick because that's just the way the algorithms work. So please, if you have not left your review, it really, really, really helps us so much. So please do that on iTunes. And then if you are watching on YouTube, please give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We appreciate that so much. We also have our Patreon group, which is the best way you can support us. And we sure appreciate our patrons. And we have the merch store where we have tons of Hardy's inspired merch, including some new designs. So take a look if you are interested in anything Hardy. And we'll talk to y'all later. Bye.